We have some breaking news to report on this Monday as Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has announced that he will not be seeking re-election. Taking a look here at a post from Fox News in which it details that Governor Walz, under fire over state's fraud scandal, drops 2026 re-election bid.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to this video. So I'm just doing a reaction here that Governor Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, is dropping his 2026 re-election bid, which everyone should have seen this coming. Um, I've only seen like a few networks really cover this. I think CNN and Fox News was like two, and of course, Fox News is definitely gonna be, covering this type of thing. But yeah, I mean, with all the fraud scandal that's going on and stuff like that, and you got that call. I was watching, other creators talking about this, and yeah, you got that call basically saying, you're not good no more. Just go ahead and ride off into the sunset, and of course you're gonna be taken care of. But it's just not a good look to try to like back you and continue to go forward with any type of re-election bid. So, we seen this coming, man. He like, even though he was, trying to say, or maybe helping like prosecute some people who were doing some of that fraud that was going on in Minnesota. Still not good enough, man. Especially after you've already went on the campaign trail, trying to be vice president underneath Kamala Harris, and that really put like eyes on you and what's going on in your state once that happened, and then once all the fraud and billions of dollars just being sent across seas to terror groups and stuff like that allegedly. And you knew you didn't have a chance of representing, the Democratic Party at all in any type of fashion as far as being reelected or anything like that. So, you know, in my opinion, man, the Democratic Party is definitely trying to find like new faces, and that's why Mondani is now, in New York. That's why because he's a new face, new talking points, and you know that's just what that party is trying to do, man. They're trying to rebrand in order to, get themselves back into power over the Republicans. So Tim Walz just didn't fit that bill. He didn't fit the description of a candidate who they were going to put their backup behind. So of course they got the call. Of course, they wasn't going to back him or anything like that. And again, they're just going to try to let him ride off into the sunset amongst all this fraud that's going on in that state.
I do want to bring up some of this footage of the governor as I read the latest information courtesy of the Associated Press, but also our partners at Fox 9. It says this: Governor Tim Walz, Democrats' 2024 candidate for vice president, is ending his bid for a third term as governor amid President Trump's relentless focus on a fraud investigation into child care programs in the state. Less than 4 months after announcing his re-election campaign, Walz said on Monday that he could no longer devote the energy necessary to win another term, even as he expressed confidence that he could win. He did issue a statement on Monday. It is quite lengthy, but I do want to read a part of it for you here as I bring it up on your screen. He said this, quote, Donald Trump and his allies in Washington, in St. Paul, and online want to make our state a colder, meaner place. They want to poison our people against each other by attacking our neighbors, and ultimately, they want to take away much of what makes Minnesota the best place in America to raise a family. They've already begun by taking our tax dollars that were meant to help families afford child care, and they have no intention of stopping there.
So now he's pointing blame. So now, just because they froze the federal funding, for families and childcare, it's because y'all have already let billions of dollars, you know, go to places that they shouldn't have went, like places who don't even have children that come and are cared for at these facilities. They've gotten billions of dollars and they sent that money elsewhere or used that money for designer sunglasses or designer clothes or nice cars. You know, this money wasn't used to help these companies, these businesses take care of children. But now it's the president's fault because they froze the money that was coming to you guys. It just don't make no sense, man. Like people who get caught red-handed, good luck, man, trying to get them to take some type of accountability for putting themselves in this position. When the whistleblowers were saying, "Hey, this is going on, this massive fraud. People don't know how to spell learning the correct way." When I go to these businesses, there's no children actually in these daycares. Nobody wanted to listen. So it has to come to this. So we just supposed to let even more billions of dollars just walk right out of the country into the hands of groups that don't like the United States, who's going to use that money to obtain weaponry or send people into the United States that's going to do bad stuff to United States citizens. Like, is that what we're supposed to do? So, and you've had 2 terms. I don't think you need a third. And again, the Democratic Party is trying to cut off all weak links. And my sir, you're a weak link. Um, anytime that you're tied up into a fraud scandal, and you have people that was in within your organization, helping run the state, that was more than likely taking kickbacks and lining their pockets and stuff like that with money that should have been going to families that are not able to afford child care, or families who are not able to afford housing or not able to afford food. You was helping these people take advantage of those situations. And we know there's a large Somalian community in these areas, and those are the people who help you get elected because they know you were going to turn a blind eye to all the fraud that was going on.
The AP, though, goes on to say that a person close to Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota said that she is considering running for governor. The person, who wasn't authorized to speak, said that Klobuchar has not made a final decision. Walz is a military veteran and union supporter who helped enact an ambitious Democratic agenda for his state, including sweeping protections for abortion rights and generous aid to families. So this is major breaking news that we're following very closely. We also know that later on today at noon, so 12 p.m. Eastern time, Governor Walz is expected to host a press conference in which he will offer more details as to his drop for that reelection bid.
We definitely appreciate your military service, man. The fact that you are a military veteran, you know, again, I have the utmost respect for our military and all the men and women of our military. From the lower ranks to the highest ranks. Um, but just just sometimes, man, people are just not able to do the job successfully that they've been put in position to do. It may be successful for some people who were getting all that money illegally. But again, it it's just crazy now that we're in a time to where people who were literally born here in America, who I'm gonna just say it, black people, say it's hell, even some white people, man, they're not able to get the same type of funding as foreigners, like people who wasn't born here in America, who just come to America. They're able to get funding quicker than you are. That's the reason why most of these foreigners have all type of businesses like tobacco stores, Chinese restaurants, you name it. I really don't see too many black people out here with actual businesses. Like like real businesses with in the shopping centers or with signs above their stores, actually doing business. I don't see it. You see most black people out here dealing drugs, you know, selling stuff that they shouldn't be selling. Maybe you might see some that may have shoe stores and stuff like that, but even now, I don't really see too many of them that have shoe stores or clothing stores and stuff like that. Like the most of the times when you go into these tobacco and these vape stores, pay attention to who's running these stores. It's not us black people. We're the highest consumers. We're the ones that go in there and spend all our money in these stores. People who smoke weed, they're buying blunts. People who smoke cigs or blacks or vapes. We go and spend all our money in these stores. But you show me 100 black owned vape stores. I guarantee you I can show you 100 tobacco and vape stores that's not owned by black people. And they're I mean it's multiple on one street, every corner. And I'm talking multiple cities. I've been in vape stores in multiple cities in my area. Not a black person has owned not near one of them. It's the same type of people in every one of them. How were they able to come over here, get a business established, get signs, get merchandise, and all this and that? Because they was able to get funding to do that. Now you take your black self in there and you try to get funding for that same type of business, and let me know how that turns out for you. Because if it was easy like that, then a lot more black people would have that type of business. So if you don't see the writings on the wall, man, you better start opening your eyes and seeing. Can't even Black people can't even get restaurants started up, and you damn sure ain't gonna get a restaurant started up in one of those nice shopping areas like where you'll be right next to something major like a Walmart or next to something like a Harris Teeter. You know, the Asians can get that going. They can get a hibachi spot up anywhere. But where's the black soul food restaurants or any type of black owned establishment? Where are they at? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video. Again, if you guys like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.